This is Meet Sean, where we break down real life topics insurance, annuities, real estate, travel planning, and home ownership so you can make smarter moves. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
Picture the scenario, right? Because I guarantee you have lived it.
Oh, I'm sure I have.
You step off a long flight, you navigate that awful rental car counter, you finally arrive at your destination, and you turn the key to your accommodation.
Or, punching the code on the smart lock.
Right, punching the code. And in that exact fraction of a second, as the door swings open, your entire vacation basically hangs in the balance.
It really does. It's a make or break moment.
You realize instantly whether the physical space you just paid for is going to elevate your trip, or if you are going to spend the next 7 days fighting against the architecture of the building.
Yeah, that sinking feeling when the vibe is just totally off.
Exactly. We tend to think of picking a place to stay as just checking a box on a to-do list, but it is so much more than that. You are literally choosing the physical foundation, the stage design for your entire travel experience.
I completely agree. It is arguably the single most consequential decision of the trip.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive, where we're going to unpack all of this. Because we've all been there, doing the desperate midnight scroll for a place to stay.
Right? Endless tabs open on your browser.
Totally. So today, we are pulling from this really comprehensive guide from Carter Travel Excursions. They've laid out the definitive mechanics behind the ultimate travel dilemma.
Right, the big three. Hotels versus vacation rentals versus resorts.
Yes. Our mission today is to decode how these different hospitality models actually function. We want to help you figure out how to match your specific trip style to the right kind of stay.
So you can book that next getaway with absolutely zero surprises.
Exactly. Because when you turn that key or punch in that code, you should know exactly what's waiting on the other side.
And, the industry has fractured in this really fascinating way lately.
How so?
Well, we are no longer just comparing price points between two identical towers in a city center. We are comparing fundamentally different microeconomies of travel.
Okay, let's start right there with those microeconomies. Let's look at the core trade-off, which the Carter Travel Excursions Guide defines as space versus service.
Right. That's the baseline we need to establish.
So, looking at the data for a traditional hotel room, the footprint is incredibly consistent. We are talking, 300 to 400 square feet?
Yeah, that's the standard. They are compact and almost universally dropped right into the densest, most bustling city centers.
Right near all the major attractions. And the guide notes that in over 75% of cases, that standard hotel room is actually the cheaper option.
Especially if you are a solo traveler or a couple.
Right. But what is actually happening mechanically inside that 300 square foot box? I mean, why does it work for so many people?
Mechanically, a hotel operates as a frictionless, highly optimized machine. It's designed to give you your time back.
Okay, I like that phrasing.
Yeah, you are purchasing a standardized footprint, sure, but the real product is the service layer. You have daily housekeeping resetting your environment while you're out.
The magical making of the bed.
Exactly. And you have a front desk acting as the triage center. If the Wi-Fi drops or if the shower leaks, there is a dedicated human infrastructure existing solely to solve that problem immediately.
So the trade-off is spatial constraint, but the reward is total offloading of domestic labor. You're paying to not have to think.
Precisely. Now, contrast that with the vacation rental market, which flips that entire equation upside down.
The space upgrades are staggering. We aren't talking about adding an extra 100 feet, are we?
No, not at all. You're jumping from 300 square feet to 2,000 or even 4,000 square feet. It's often a tenfold increase in physical space.
That's massive. And these are mostly located in your leisure destinations, right? Like beach towns, ski mountains, hiking spots.
Right. But here's the catch. You don't have that lobby downstairs. The industry relies heavily on integrated technology to bridge that service gap.
So they swap human service for tech.
Exactly. The source text highlights Avon Stay as a prime example of this shift. They manage over 2,300 properties.
Wow, 2,300. That's a huge portfolio.
It is. And they provide what they call hotel-grade cleaning. But the mechanism is fundamentally different. It is on demand rather than daily service.
Right, so the front desk is replaced by a smart lock, and the concierge is an app on your phone with 204/7 support.
You're trading the immediacy of in-person service for immense spatial freedom.
I was actually trying to come up with a way to visualize this choice for the listener. Choosing your stay is kind of like choosing your dining experience,
Oh, I like where this is going.
Think about it. A hotel is that reliable, fast, casual spot where you know exactly what you're getting. You order, you eat, someone else cleans up.
Very low effort.
Right. A vacation rental, on the other hand, is like cooking in your own massive kitchen. It takes a bit more coordination, but it's totally personalized.
And a resort.
That's the all-inclusive buffet. You get your own personal space, but you share massive amenities like pools and gyms, and there's a concierge right there to book your tours.
That's a brilliant analogy, because what's fascinating here is that the choice ultimately hinges on what the traveler values most at that moment in their life.
Do you want frictionless daily service, or do you want privacy and flexibility?
Exactly. Do you crave the unique character of a home, even if it demands a slight bit of self-sufficiency?
Right, because you might have to load the dishwasher before you check out of that rental.
Yeah, or buy your own coffee beans. It's a transfer of responsibility.
And that psychological question gets infinitely more complicated when you aren't just answering it for yourself. Let's talk about group travel, because that changes everything.
Oh, absolutely. The tipping point for this entire debate is group size. The math and the logistics completely fracture when you scale up the trip.
Looking at the trends for 2025, the guide points out that a massive 47% of travelers are opting for multi-generational trips.
Almost half. That is a huge socioeconomic shift.
It really is. You've got grandparents, parents, and kids all trying to navigate the exact same itinerary.
And often, because families are so geographically dispersed these days, the vacation has evolved into the primary vehicle for family cohesion.
It's the 1 week a year where everyone actually physically exists in the same room. But if you take that multi-generational unit and try to force them into a traditional hotel...
You get what the research brilliantly terms the hallway shuffle.
Yes, the hallway shuffle. We've all done this, right?
Oh, I've lived it. It's exhausting.
You book 5 rooms in a hotel. By the luck of the draw, your parents are on the 3rd floor. You are on the 5th floor by the noisy elevator.
And your brother is down the hall overlooking the parking lot.
Right. The architecture itself actively works against the goal of the trip. If you want to spend time together, where do you physically go?
You're forced into public spaces. You have to coordinate a meeting time in the lobby.
Or you try to cram 8 people into a 300-square-foot room, sitting awkwardly on the edge of the mattress, drinking lukewarm coffee.
Exactly. The hotel model is a hub-and-spoke system, but without a private hub. And this is where the sheer square footage of a vacation rental fundamentally alters group behavior.
How so? Because of the common areas.
Yes. When you have multiple primary suites providing individual privacy, but they all open up into a large central living room, you naturally facilitate organic interaction.
So people can wake up at 6:40 a.m. or 10 a.m., wander out in their pajamas, and the gathering just happens without any formal scheduling.
The space removes the friction of socializing.
That makes so much sense. Now, we have to talk about the financial side of this, because the economics of prioritizing costs for a large group are super interesting.
They really are. The data shows that the per-person cost of a vacation rental is often significantly lower than booking multiple separate hotel rooms.
And the undisputed hero of this financial equation is the full kitchen.
Oh, hands down. It's the biggest cost-saving factor.
The kitchen is basically an economic engine that subsidizes the cost of the trip. I mean, if you have 8 people and you have to eat at a restaurant 3 times a day,
your travel budget just evaporates in 48 hours. The taxes, the tips, the drinks, it adds up incredibly fast.
It's an astronomical hidden cost to the hotel model. Even if a group only utilizes a rental kitchen to brew their own morning coffee and make some sandwiches, the savings are huge.
It alters the entire financial viability of the vacation for a lot of families.
Okay, wait, this is exactly where I need to push back a little bit.
Go for it.
Because I am usually the person organizing these group trips for my family. I am the one putting the credit card down months in advance.
The designated planner. I know the role well.
Right. So per person, it might be cheaper, but isn't there a catch? The sources mention stricter cancellation policies and advanced booking requirements for rentals.
That is very true.
If I book a block of hotel rooms and my sister's kids get sick 2 days before the trip, I can usually cancel her room without paying a dime.
Generally, yes.
But if I book a 5-bedroom vacation rental and a quarter of the group drops out, I am still legally on the hook for that entire house. Isn't the upfront risk way higher for the organizer?
You've identified the exact structural trade-off of the vacation rental market. You are entirely correct to push back on that.
It feels like a lot of pressure.
It is. The financial savings generated by the kitchen and the lower nightly rate require the trade-off of stricter planning. You are purchasing that bulk spatial discount by sacrificing the agility of a hotel's cancellation policy.
So you pay for flexibility or you save by committing.
Exactly. Organizing a rental requires shared financial agreements up front, and you have to accept that shared risk. A hotel block is nimble, but a vacation rental is a contract.
Okay, that is a really crucial distinction for people to understand. Now, let's pivot to the one factor that will completely override any budget or any cancellation policy.
I think I know what's coming.
Let's talk about the kid factor, the youngest members of the group. If you want to see a vacation implode in real time, just mess with a toddler's sleep schedule.
It's a recipe for absolute disaster. The research isolates this as a critical component of travel satisfaction.
Because the underlying motivation for travel is to relax, right? But traveling with young children is frequently just executing your daily parenting duties in a poorly equipped environment.
It is an absolute trial by fire. And this is where the guide emphasizes that having a dedicated home environment is an absolute game changer for preserving sanity.
Let's look at the mechanics of this. Imagine a family of 4 in a standard 300 square foot hotel room. You have a toddler who absolutely must go to sleep at 7 p.m.
Or the next day is completely ruined.
Right. What happens at 7:01 p.m.?
The parents basically become hostages to the square footage. The lights go off. You are suddenly navigating the room by the light of your phone screen.
You are whispering in the dark.
You're terrified to open a zipper on your suitcase because the acoustic constraints of a single room mean any noise wakes the baby.
Your vacation day effectively terminates at 7:00 p.m. It's miserable.
It really is. And this is the magic of spatial psychology that the guide talks about. A rental gives the kids a separate room with a door that closes.
So they can sleep peacefully. And they have ample room to play during the day without tripping over a hotel desk chair.
But crucially, it buys the parents their evenings back.
Yes, you put the kids to bed, you close the door, and you walk out to a living room. You can actually speak at a normal volume experience being an adult on vacation.
The architecture literally grants you permission to relax.
That is so well put. And the data also highlights another mechanical advantage for parents, which is location strategy.
Right, the immediate exterior environment dictates how much friction you experience during the day.
The guide strongly advises looking for rentals near parks or highly walkable areas, because if you are in a downtown hotel, getting a hyperactive kid to an open green space is an ordeal.
You have to navigate busy intersections, wait for crosswalks, maybe fold up a stroller for the subway.
But if you rent a house adjacent to a park, the friction drops to 0. You just open the front door.
But naturally, when we talk about putting kids into residential homes we don't own, the safety question is front and center. It's a major FAQ in the research.
Right. How safe are these vacation rentals compared to a branded hotel?
The consensus from the data is that yes, they are safe. They often provide standard necessities like smoke detectors, and many offer child-proofing options.
But the mechanism of trust is different, isn't it?
Entirely. You do not have the blanket corporate safety guarantee of an international hotel chain. The burden of vetting shifts to the consumer.
You must aggressively check recent reviews and verify cleanliness standards before you book.
Exactly. You are taking on that project management role.
Okay, so let's pause and look at everything we've assembled here. If you are organizing a trip, you have to run the multi-generational math.
Yep.
You have to secure firm financial commitments. You have to analyze floor plans to avoid the hallway shuffle. You have to map the walkability and manually vet the safety standards.
It's exhausting just listening to the list.
Right. This isn't a vacation. This is intense project management. How does anyone manage all these complex layers without needing a vacation from their vacation?
It is classic choice overload. We are drowning in options, which creates massive decision fatigue. And this is exactly why the industry is seeing a resurgence in professional travel consultants.
Enter the professionals. And the guide points directly to the team at Carter Travel Excursions as the prime example of this.
They are a fantastic case study.
They are based in Florida. And for anyone furiously taking notes on how to offload this stress, their direct line is 727-314-1865. But I want to understand how they actually solve the problem.
What do you mean?
Well, I have the internet. I can look at the same map of Florida that they can. What is the actual advantage of handing this over to a travel consultant?
The advantage is that they bypass the algorithmic noise that you are trapped in. When you search online, you are seeing a sanitized, limited view of inventory.
Okay. So a consultant operates on a different tier of access.
Exactly. They leverage deep, on-the-ground local expertise like Carter's intimate knowledge of the Florida market, combined with robust global partnerships.
So they aren't just scrolling public listings like the rest of us.
No, they have direct lines to management companies and exclusive properties that often aren't even visible to the general public.
So they're fundamentally upgrading the experience from standard amenities to a personalized concierge level.
Precisely. They handle the incredibly complex itinerary logistics and booking details, securing high-quality premium properties.
That makes sense because if you book a rental yourself and the smart lock breaks at 10:00 p.m., you are standing on a dark porch arguing with an automated chatbot.
But if a consultant books it, you have a dedicated professional who immediately handles the crisis on your behalf. They act as a buffer between you and the friction of travel.
They absorb the friction so you don't have to. There is a quote in the source material that perfectly encapsulates why this matters. It says, "Travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer."
I love that quote. It's so true.
When you think about it, you are investing a significant amount of capital and finite time into coordinating a trip with people you might only see once a year.
And having an expert curate that ensures you aren't just buying a place to sleep.
Right. You are investing in the seamless creation of memories.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, in an era of information overload, having someone protect that investment is vital. If the logistics fail, the memories are tainted by stress.
So true. Well, as we wrap up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you look toward planning that next getaway?
It means you have to stop viewing your accommodation as just an afterthought once the flights are booked.
It is the core operating system of your trip. You have to match the physical space to your specific group size, trip length, and budget.
You must ruthlessly assess what your group actually needs. Do you prioritize the frictionless consistency of a hotel?
Or do you require the sprawling square footage and the economic engine of a full kitchen that a vacation rental provides?
Or maybe you want that middle ground, the stress-free shared amenities of a resort.
Whichever path you choose, that physical space will dictate the rhythm of your days. So I want to leave you with a completely different angle to ponder.
Oh, plot twist at the end. Let's hear it.
We've spent this entire time talking about how to perfectly match your stay to your usual trip style. But if the space we choose fundamentally dictates our behavior, what would happen if you intentionally booked the exact opposite of your usual travel style next time?
That is a brilliant sociological experiment.
Right. If you are a hyper-organized hotel person who relies on daily housekeeping, what if you forced yourself into a slightly chaotic communal beach house where you have to cook together?
Or if you always do the rugged DIY rental thing, what if you completely surrendered control and checked into a fully staffed resort?
Exactly. Could stepping out of your predictable zone unlock a totally different side of the people you're traveling with?
It might even unlock a different side of yourself.
It's something to seriously consider the next time you find yourself doing that midnight scroll. Until next time, keep exploring.
That's it for today's Meet Sean. If this helped, follow the show and share this episode with one person who needs it. See you next time.